All the while your heart's on fire, keeping off to your own desire. Look at all you've endured, heartaches that have crushed your worth. All the while your mind's at war, you keep coming back for more.
Good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, no matter where you are in the world. I hope you're having a very good day, or you've had a very good day. Today I am going to speak to you about stretching and the importance of stretching. Now, I'm going to overlay my stretching routine throughout this video so that you can see what I do on a daily basis. This is a lot of muscle recovery stuff for me in terms of my accident and all the problems I've got going on. So it specifically targets the upper back, the thoracic part of the spine, and my legs and my knees as well, because there's just problems after problems with that. I thought that would be a very nice sound, the lovely crashing waves behind me, but I have a feeling it's going to be a big problem. So we will see. So yes, the importance of stretching fundamentally is range of motion in the joints, range of motion in the muscles. You know, if you don't stretch off regularly, at least a couple of times a week, you're just going to become so immobile, so unflexible. And the problem with that is going to be when you get older. You won't have any problems when you're younger, but the older you get, the worse it becomes. Alrighty guys, I'm just going to be doing a quick talking overlay with this one, just so I can run you through exactly what I'm doing during my stretching routine. Obviously I said this was targeted for me, for my injuries and stuff. However, this is a fantastic full body stretch that I recommend to all of my clients, because it incorporates pretty much all of the major joints and all of the smaller joints as well. Targets different parts of your back, legs, all sorts. Okay, so we have initially started with a thoracic rotation on either side. And when it comes to stretching, guys, there's no minimum amount of time and there's no maximum amount of time that you need to hold any of these stretches for, okay? I'm running you through this quite quickly. However, when I wake up in the morning, this is exactly what I do. I run through it quite quickly. And then when I'm feeling tight and in a lot of pain, I'll hold these stretches for a long period of time, sometimes a minute plus in each position. Okay, and this is targeting, like I said, full body. So we start with a full thoracic rotation on either side, which is targeting the upper spine. We then move on to an open gate thoracic movement, like you can see here, with one leg open, and then again I thread the needle through and make sure I rest down on that shoulder, really trying to stretch out the rhomboids and the lats and everything as much as I can. This is a good inner thigh stretch as well. So when we come to hold these kind of stretches, you just need to make sure you're getting the position right. Okay, as you can see, all of these positions that I'm getting in, I am trying to lean into them as much as possible, because that's really what you want to target. You want to target meaning leaning into the movement and really feeling that deep stretch throughout the entire time you're in it. Some of the things that I do not do in these stretches that I do normally do is a very standard quadricep and hamstring stretch. I do get the hamstrings in a little bit when I go into that forward lunge position. However, I don't get them as well as I do when I stand up, which is what I do when I do the quads, do them quickly, and then the calves as well. Rest the foot up against something and then lean into the calf stretch. They're probably the most fundamental ones to do for the general population, because people, like specifically ladies who wear high heels will have extremely tight calves, and runners as well will have very tight quads and can have very tight hammies as well. So you just need to make sure that you're stretching them off on a daily basis. Okay, so I do this stretching routine at least once a day. It doesn't take very long, as you saw me run through it there. It only takes a couple of minutes. Do it as soon as you wake up or as soon as you go to bed, or both, which is what I did. I don't do to that intensity anymore. I used to do this stretching routine 3 times a day. One when I got fresh out of bed, second just after training, and then thirdly just before I went to bed. That was when I was having a lot of problems. Now I sort of have backed off and only do it once a day, pretty much as soon as I wake up, because I feel like that's when I'm the tightest. And then as well after exercise, if I feel like I need to, then I will. But then I have targeted more a bigger stretching routine on a Saturday that I do for 30 minutes, 45 minutes with a class that I do. So I target that, and that's really my main bulk of stretching in the week. But I do get a minimum of an hour and a half stretching in a week, spread out through the week evenly, and then a big one at the weekend. After you've trained all week, come to the weekend, nice big stretch off, and I feel fantastic, ready for the weekend leading into the new week.
Flexibility and how important that is, the older, so right, let's take my dad again for a prime example. He has never stretched in his life ever, I don't think, and he's now reaping the consequences of that mistake as he gets older. He is having more and more time off of work because of how much he injures himself, on a weekly basis. I would say at least a weekly basis, he is pulling a muscle or tweaking something or having back pain or having joint pain of some description. And I would personally put that down to stretching fundamentally. I think there's a lot he could improve with his diet, but I think fundamentally it is his stretching and how immobile his muscles are, how immobile his joints are, and because he's never stretched off in his life. And then when you go down to do something, you don't have, so like for example, if you're stood up and you bend over and then bend down and twist round to pick up something off the floor, a golf ball or a hammer for his example, it is, the muscles don't have the full range of motion, and then they are so tight because they have never been stretched off, and they've become tighter and tighter and tighter over time with exercise and work, that when you do pick up that particular item, no matter how big, heavy or small or light it is, the muscles don't have the range of motion in order to pick it up, and then so something goes snap or tear or rips in a bad way. And then this is how it causes more and more problems for you later in life. The older you get, and believe me, I've seen it in clients that I take, they have never stretched, and they are so immobile and so tight at an old age. And they've all said to me, I regret not stretching so much. And they now have started stretching off every single day, and that's something that, it's amazing, because it's only going to get worse the older you get. It's exactly the same with your nutrition. If you eat Mackies every day, when you get older, you're going to have blocked arteries, and you're going to have heart problems and blood problems and all of that stuff. It's exactly the same with the stretching. Like, if you don't stretch off when you get older, you're going to be very immobile, you're going to be very inflexible, you're going to have very short range of motion at the joints. And fundamentally you don't want that, because you're going to be more prone to injury, you're going to be more prone to muscle spasms and muscle cramps and different things like that. So yeah, I think that covers it pretty comprehensively. Just start stretching. That's my only advice, is you have to start stretching, even if it's once or twice a week. Like, now that I'm a lot better with my injuries, I've stopped stretching quite as much. I don't stretch off for an hour every day anymore. I stretch off for maybe an hour a week. I've taken that down incrementally over the past few weeks because it's horrible stretching that much. But I'm still stretching because I know the importance of it, and I know how I'm going to regret not doing it when I'm older. You know, and even by going from an hour a day to an hour a week, I have already noticed a massive shift in how flexible I am, and it happens so quickly, and it's not nice. But yeah, it's all about making sure we take care of ourselves for the future, because we all want to be here for a long time. And you know, if you don't take care of yourself when you're young, you will have so many problems when you're older. And why do that to ourselves? You know, we'll be kicking ourselves and screaming at ourselves, and for no point, just for taking, you know, a couple of hours a week to stretch off. You know, it is, in my personal opinion, quite simple. Right. Yes, thank you for listening, guys. It's a very, very short one today. I mean, I don't really have that much to say. It's very simple. Stretching is important. I've shown you my stretching routine. This is a very comprehensive full body stretch that I would advise for anybody. It's, you know, it can be made a lot harder than this. It can be made a lot easier than this, you know. But that's something you want to do, a full comprehensive body stretch from tip to toe. You know, I then also standing up doing some very, very basic chest stretching against the wall, and you know, quad and hamstring stuff as well, some really, really simple stuff. And yeah, that's always the tightest part for everybody I've ever met. Hamstrings and calves, they're always the tightest part. So I mean, stretch them off. You should be able to touch your toes and go all the way down, you know, almost put your head between your knees. That's like a minimum for me, I would say. That's what I get all my clients to do, you know, starting off with the most basic of stretches. But yeah, I hope you have taken something away from this. I hope you've like learn my stretching routine, because it is fantastic. I've taken many months to develop it, and I used it in my final exam for my PT work ages ago. And you know, and they said it was absolutely fantastic. You know, I've shown it to all my clients, and again, they all say it's absolutely fantastic. So yes, wherever you are in the world, have a good day, have a good night, and I shall see you next week.